Deep Space Exploration Society Engineering meeting on January the 12th. This is our first meeting of the year, and we have a lot of things going on, a lot of things that are happening during the next few months. So we have a lot of things to discuss tonight and probably next month as well. Let's see if I can go to this is the agenda I've got right now. Let's see if I can move this stupid thing out of the way here. Okay. And so, by the way, we've now got hand call online working here, HCOL, as Bill Thomas says, and it seems to be working pretty good. I sent out a notice, our first notice of the year on it, and it seemed to have worked. So, but luckily I had Bill online here to help me make sure I didn't make any silly mistakes. But did anybody have any problems with the notice?
No, I got it.
Okay, good. So uh, I'm sure it'll give us lots of benefits this year, especially when we're trying to get information out to our members, as well as doing the elections and other things that are coming up the next couple of months. So the first item on here is the Haswell trip on Friday this week. It's coming up, and so some of the activities. And I'll let Alex. Do you want to get into it? Do you have anything to show, or do you want me to, or do you want to just talk to it? What's your pleasure?
Yeah, I have a few slides to show about the beacon. That
Okay,
actually the purpose why I'm coming.
okay, go ahead.
All right, try to be pretty short. So let me know if you see the screen.
There it is. It's on there now.
All right. Okay, so way too far. All right. Deep Space Network beacon system. So previous attempt when I was there last time, we could not detect anything. So, and we didn't know what to do because we don't have a source. So, me and Rick, when we had the conversation, decided we have to have some beacon system so we can not only the use for the DSN, but as well as for any other projects we have, which is pretty useful for like a Moon, Venus, as well as Artemis, and any project we involve that would require antenna and some a link verification. So why we need the beacon in the first place? This is very simple things that identify why we need it. So first of all, we never had it, and this is the first time we're going to have something. It's controlled, stable, known reference source, antenna pointing, which in alignment, so we can use the beacon to verify all of that. And that's one of the things that Roger brought up last time. Receiver verification and linear testing. So anything that we use for a receiver standpoint, we actually can verify the receive system on multiple levels, a hardware level and a software level, with that beacon system. Propagation experiment, something that anyone can experiment. So I'm pretty sure a lot of other folks in DSES not have a great knowledge of it, but they will be happy to participate in some propagation experiments where we have a free out of other projects. And obviously in the link and end-to-end link verification, which is going to be a baseline before we get into the series projects. So that was the intent, to have a beacon system. So my initial design, and I already presented this long time ago, was pretty much like that. So I put it there because it will record it. Anyone can come back and verify and send emails if they have any questions. But the system is very system, just a PLL controlled by the Raspberry Pi. Have a amplifier, have a doubler, blah blah blah, and bandpass filter, and you have pretty much your signal. So that was a very neat project, but it did not work because unfortunately everything that are available on the market, like all these boards that are shown, PLL, they have very small percentage of the working, so it's hard to get it work, and it's not properly made and built, unfortunately. So I couldn't get it working well as intended. In fact, original board, if you're going to buy, it's going to cost about $200 or $300, which wasn't worth it at all. So I decided to go with the different way and purchase already existed PLL with the better performance. It didn't cost me a lot. It was like 20 bucks from AliExpress from China, but I simplified the circuit. Basically, the idea is they have a known generator, so we can amplify the signal since the signal is coming very small, about like a 0 dBm, tiny. And then and the maximum frequency can generate 4 gigahertz, which is obviously not enough to generate 8 gigahertz on the X band for the Voyager and DSN system in general. So I decided to use a very simple approach with that complicated system. It's just a passive doubler. It basically doubles your frequency x2, and whatever you put in there doubles in 2, but it has a significant losses, about 17 dB losses, but that's why I'm using the amplifier in there. So anyway, and then you have a filter to filter out, and you get pretty nice signal. And that signal is observed here on spectrum analyzer. So I tested recently, and I have a clear signal at the Voyager frequency right at this peak, and this is at minus 3 dBm. Do you all understand that's just a 0.4 milliwatts, not even close to 1 milliwatt, it's 0.4 milliwatt. It seems to be very tiny little signal, but it's way more than enough for our beacon system. So this is the this is all assembly. This is the PLL, the board identified, and then they have a amplifier, mini circuit driver, PA, I call it. Then they have a doubler, it doubles the frequency, multiplies by 2. And then they have like a copper pipe here. It's my own assembly, my own design is a 5-pole bandpass filter with about 2 dB losses, insertion losses, but it's very narrow, so which is a good perfect use for this. And then on the right side you see everything assembled. Have a viewer, so it's basically for pointing, so we can install it in tripod, as you can see, and we can go 2, 5, 10 miles away from the site and just to point it towards antenna, and there we go, we've got a very controllable signal. This is how the beacon works. Now the cool part is that it's all powered from the regular USB bank. I mean, everyone has those USB banks nowadays, right? For the cell phone charger. So basically just plugs in there and power. So all you need is 5 volts, that's it. However, it has 12 volt DC-DC converter inside if you need to run out of the battery, but 5 volts is way more than enough. The maximum current is 200 milliamps. Alright, then the cool part is the science, because I'm the scientist, I like science, so I have to verify that. So let's ignore all this formulas. Is there if you want to come back and read it, go forward. But it's place the beacon 2 miles away and has it have a power, whatever we have a power, which is minus 3.6 dBm, and then you have all this 2 miles away and have a free space loss of 121 dB, and it turns out the signal at our antenna going to be at minus 56 dBm. So all right, I know why. That's why I call controlled. We know precisely what's going to happen. Plus minus some uncertainties, but it's not going to affect a lot. So okay, what we're going to do with this number, right? So okay, if we okay, now. So if we're going to place like 1 mile, 2 miles, 5 miles, and 10 miles, the signals differences you can see on the right side changes. So that's just idea how strong the signal is going to be. So, but here's a problem, that the Earth is curved, right? Earth is not flat. Don't tell me that. So Earth is definitely a sphere. So, and we know that based on the basic physics, about 10 miles as the maximum distance at which the 2 points are going to be below the horizon. But consider the fact we have 1 meter of the tripod antenna height for the beacon, and 8 meter the feed height at our antenna, so that will give us about solid 9 to 10 miles point-to-point visibility, which is perfect. So the Earth not going to affect the signal. So that was easy to estimate. And then okay, we'll get the DSN receiver and now connect the system they already have there on the Haswell that we previously tried to attempt to use it, and connect now to the feed we have. And here we go. So if you do simple math calculations based on the down converter we have, and then receive losses we have, and the resolution bandwidth is about 10 Hertz, which is pretty the lowest one for the Voyager ideal, but we're not going to use this for any other DSN objects. So after all these calculations, it turns out it's about plus 88 dB signal noise ratio. Can you imagine the 88 dB? It's a very, very hot signal. So it's a very strong signal. So obviously that's the rough idea of what we should expect to see on our spectrum analyzer and the spectrographer at this SDR software signal if we place 10 miles away the beacon with the 0.4 milliwatts output power into 6 dBi antenna. So, and then if you're going to increase the resolution bandwidth to the standard 2.5 kilohertz, which is what we use for WSGT programs, all of that, so the SNR will be about 64 dB, which is 20 dB less, but still it's still strong signal. Now that tells me that I need to install 40 dB attenuator pad at the beacon, between the beacon output and the antenna, and that will give us about 24 dB. So this is exactly precisely controlled method. So we know by adding something, we know what's going to happen. So obviously it's within point to point, because in this case the propagation does not involve. But there are some uncertainties, as I mentioned, so which I'm not concerned a lot. So this is what we're going to approach. Now the very important part is I need some volunteers, because I'll be at the site with the equipment, antenna pointing and adjustments. I need someone running at the field with the beacon that I show on the tripod behind me. Actually, is right there. That's set on a distance. Before we have to decide where we're gonna go, which direction. I've been told that we have like a 270 degrees the straight road. And this is right at 170 degrees, so it's easy to point antenna at 170 degrees and actually verify the position. So that's the idea and objective for this upcoming weekend, to conduct a test that will tell us how the DSN system, RS system performed. As well as antenna pointing, also the beam width, antenna beam width for that frequency. It'll give us an idea how far we are from the calculated and estimated performance to detect a voyager. What else? All right, that's pretty much it. So this is the one part that I want to spend some time. But once again, it's a subject to weather. If there's going to be a winter storm, or it's going to rain, or have heavy wind, strong winds, obviously that's not going to be the ideal weather to conduct this test. But I will bring the beacon system and everything associated with that experiment with me, so we can take a chance to do that. If not, we'll focus on other things. And other things is going to be the fiber optic. We know that we have one line is damaged. Damaged during the storm last year, and we have only one functional fiber line, but it's also kind of very dangerous, since it's just a single point failure. If we don't have it, we try to fix it. It did not work, unfortunately. We're not experts on the fiber optic lines, so if anyone from our team or right now the meeting knows how to install the fiber optic connectors, we do have a connectors, we do have a tools, then feel free to try to restore the existing line before we try to install the new line. So that's another task we have for that I will involved. And the third one would be the installation of the towers. And I can shut off the presentation. So
Hey, Alex, this is Bill.
yes, Bill.
I'm getting an awful echo, but let me just say the Earth out there is not flat, and we are. Can you hear me still?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. The Earth isn't flat. We're kind of in a hole out there, and it's about 500 feet of elevation to the perimeter of the hole, and the ranch to the south and Haswell to the north are actually above us, and at the limit of those, they're about 6 miles away. And so your 10 miles is going to be difficult, because you're going to be over the ridge of this hole that we're in.
Yeah, and I'm well aware about that, Bill. Thanks for bringing this up. The 10 miles I put as the absolute maximum at which in normal flats conditions the Earth will curve.
Okay.
At which the signal won't change, except like just the free space losses. But that's why I have a table with the from 1 mile to 10 miles. You can choose the desired distance, and once again you have a 360 degrees. I'm not familiar very much with the area over there, so I would rely on people that will suggest that which way to go. It doesn't really matter for this particular test. It's going to be east, west, south, as long as you have a point to point. I believe south is better, because in my understanding, and I drove south a lot, that is kind of better than going north, but
Yeah, when you get to that homestead to the south, you're at 5 miles.
yeah. So and that's why let's decide. Are you coming on the site this week?
No, unfortunately, I can't.
Uh,
I just wanted to let you know that. The other thing is the fiber optic. The fiber optic, we do have terminated multi-strand fiber optic at the site, like 200 feet, that was intended to get us into the pedestal, but that still doesn't help you getting into the feed from the pedestal. And so you might still have to terminate some fibers there. I don't know if you want to have a termination point in the third deck of the pedestal or just bring a single line all the way down.
so yeah, regarding
Go ahead.
okay, when they installed initially, they just run entire length through, and we have multiple joints, right? At which we would we would need to have a kind of a junction and cable, multiple section of the cables. So if in one section damaged, like we have at the feed, we don't need to pull entire length, right? We only
Right.
need to pull that. It goes from a control room all the way to the top deck with the antenna. So at which I try to pull because it disconnects. You have that central pipe, which I have a cable there in my hand, but I try to pull it as I go. That means I have to rip it. But the problem that when I pull the one cable, it drugs the another cable, which my concern was if I'm going to pull one, am I going to damage the second one, and we're going to end up with no cable whatsoever. So if we're going to decide to run the new line, I would strongly suggest just to have a straight line, a straight run from feed all the way to top deck. Then we're going to have a coupler, and from that coupler, or perhaps we can install, like I showed the small white box, the passive switch. So we can little switch in case if we need to connect any devices right at the deck in the future to reutilize the fiber for different stuff. And then another run all the way to the pedestal, which also going to transition to the another run to the control room. That would be the ideal.
That would be great, man. The terminated fiber that we have down there was from uh, oh gosh, New Jersey, and Martin gave it to us, and it has like I think it's six individual fibers. They are terminated. They do have a pull finger puzzle on those, a Chinese finger puzzle to pull them in with. And Roger knows where those boxes of fiber are. I think we brought it up from the bunker and put it in the garage in the building.
So the short term plan gonna be assess the situation, what we have, logistics, and what hardware we have, what we need to purchase. Instead of just rushing and running the line, I would suggest okay, thinking what we need to do. So I'd like to have a panel with determination, at least on the pedestal and the upper deck, and then we're going to have to replace at some point. So if you're going to get all this infrastructure to the top deck, so the last one we need to just, because that's the easy part, it can accomplish with all of us. Even the pole can go there. But if something that comes to the dish and the feed, that's kind of complicated because there is no way either we have to hire contractors to do the job. So because I'm not going to risk going there and installing that pipe, and we either need to just either cut those cables completely at that point and then run and use those cut cables as the wire to pull it and then pull the new set of cables to the feed, and we have to install the connectors or just to run the other cables we have as you mentioned, and that would be easy done. So I would say two near term to assess the situation, what we have, what we need to do, plan it, and then next time perhaps we can come and do full installation. I'd like to have all this fixed before April, before the DUBUS contest.
Yeah.
Alex, have you got that tool for mounting terminators on the fiber optics? The cutting tool?
Yes, we have a cutting tool, we have installation tool, we have everything, but
Okay.
we tried it, but it lights up, it works, but unfortunately does not transmit the data. And we follow all instructions, did everything, and the problem is right now, if we try to do that, we're run out of length. There's only short length left. Even though we install the connectors, it's not going to be long enough. So might as well just replace it because it's been compromised in my mind. So I'd rather to replace. But if we have a tools and Paul bought those whole set of connectors, we can practice and make a cables out of the leftover we have, and see. At some point, we're gonna learn eventually how to use this tool so we can fix it when it's.
Hey, Alex, you would, I was just thinking, I wonder if I could ask our friends at ES Technologies if they would like to fix that connector for us. You think they would do it
Well,
for free?
Paul, the problem wasn't fixing cable fiber. Fiber is very, very tiny. It's like I don't. It's like a double size of my. Even with my glasses, I was hardly to see that the fiber itself. It's just all surrounding this metal jacket and all this armored. It's cutting that was a challenge, and Roger was there. It was hard working at the heights, right, where you can sleep and then fall. So I'd rather sit in the control room, cut the cable, try to do it, and make a jumper and see if it works. So we have a plenty things like that. But to make it everything professionally, I'd like to have like a normal fiber optic run. And once again, it does not need to be those connectors I have. Those connectors are terminated only at the ends. If you have like a panel, like a patch panel, right? When you have this metal type of connectors, the round circular one, terminated, they have, and then you only need to connect any adapters you wanted to it that connects my system on both ends. So I think me and Roger are going to think about what we can do and look up at that cables that Bill mentioned, and see. So at least 3 points we have to have at a pedestal. So in case if we need to install anything in the pedestal, so we have access to the fiber, and then have on the top deck if we need to install something on the top deck, and easy to, if something damages above the deck, we can pull that piece only, not touching anything else. And the third piece is going to run there, so there would be no losses because fiber optic does not have a losses, so it would be a very reliable system going moving forward.
Yeah.
The only caution I have is that it's the upper deck is not a closed environment. You're basically open to the wind and everything else.
Yeah, that's not a problem because you have a cable coming out. They have a pipe, so we installed the plastic PVC box. That the pipe coming and is going to go into that PVC box. Coming down is going to be the cables. Now, because that top deck is always oriented up, it's not moving the entire antenna. The top deck does not moving; it's just a rotating. So it would mean not subject to any weather conditions. And also give us idea. We need to find a way to seal that central hole where all this cable is going through. To try our best, because I don't think we're going to be thinking to run more cables than we already have. I think we kind of maxed out. We just need to think about a rubber, foam-based rubber kind of seal surround the cable, because right now it's all tear down, and the water is going straight down through that hole, hanging on the cables and down, drips down. So we can fix that. And one of the tasks we need to, and or Bill, if he has it in his list, we can just simply follow.
Good.
Any other questions about the DSN, and is any volunteers I can rely on?
Actually, a comment here. So yeah, we have a 6 fiber cable that, as Bill mentioned, is supposed to run from the control room to the top deck. What that allows us to do, perhaps, Alex, if we get someone with the expertise of putting those end connectors on, is the cable that's in there, since it goes all the way to the control room. If we can pull that out, we can reuse that cable if we just terminate it on one end.
Oh, we have 2 cables, so not only one, 2 cables, so which you can reuse it.
Oh yeah, that's right, because they're 2 single fibers, aren't they? Yes, yeah. So both of those could be reused if we can get the connectors. And Alex is right. We there is the correct way of terminating those cables, and then there's the way that we had to kind of do it up in the wind and the weather and all of that at the top. And we did get the light going, but not the data. So we came close, but not quite.
Yeah, and I like that we actually talking, communicating regarding this, not just making erratic decisions. So what we're gonna do, we do have a cables and pole bot cables, and the Bill mentioned now cables. I didn't know about that. So we have plans. We just need to come up with the kind of panel, the termination panel on those points. Identify what the point's gonna be. Ideally, right next, like we have those feeds, feed one, feed two. We have like a termination panel in the pedestal, so we can install the like a small termination panel for the fiber in there. So we're going to have access to all feed infrastructure, and as well as in the pedestal to in the top upper deck, so we can seal that stuff. So I think that's just a 1 day of effort, as long as we have all parts. And I think like a 2 people, max 3 people would be sufficient to run that job. So we'll try to assess this time. Roger, I'm assuming you coming down. Because I would need your help on the DSN, and I think you still have that feed, would you? The DSN feed and amount? That's what I figured. Okay. All right. So yeah. So definitely I need you, and we can think about what we can do with all the resources we have. That's all I had. And last thing is a tower. So once again, the subject to weather, I ordered the special harness. The thing is arrived. Paul has it, and we'll try to put up the sections on the tower, which in the list of tasks. So that's the plan, at least for us, for 3 days: Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for me.
Yeah, the weather's going to
Okay.
be good.
And Paul, you were mentioning the environmental exposure on that top deck. Yeah, all of these optical connectors. What we might want to do is either look at the big white case there and seal it better, or perhaps even better would be to just get a Pelican case, something with a gasket on it, and make a termination box for all the optical connections. It would
And
keep
then
the
to
dirt
support
out.
and that support what Roger said, I think I know one of the guys that seen that connector at the feed. It deteriorated. It's totally different than it used to be. So that means it's constantly subject to the weather, because where we're not using it, just hanging inside a box. So it's still subject to the weather and humidity and temperature variations and all of that. And at some point, the plastic itself will just completely decompose, and we're not going to be able to use it.
UV.
So yeah, and then no, UV is not affected because it's inside the box, so there's no direct UV, but it's all the weather conditions and wind and all of that. So yes, I'd like to go with the metal type of connectors instead of plastic. If we need to use the plastic jumpers, we're just gonna use the jumper from one type to another type, which is gonna be used at a time of the system use. But when we're not gonna have the system in use, the metal will be terminated inside of the environmentally controlled box, which is going to be protected and will get us, you know, a reliable and a protected system than we have now. So it's all good right now. There was a first generation. It worked well and still working, but I think we have to think about how we can protect our investments moving forward.
Okay.
Sounds great. I've still got that 300 feet of terminated armored cable at the site. So
yeah, we're gonna use all of that. Don't forget, Paul, we have 30-foot dish pending. We can use that for other. So all fiber optic is all going to be utilized excessively on the DSS side, guaranteed. So it's not going to sit for long there. So we're going to use it.
Yeah, it may pay us eventually to buy the more expensive, the really good ones that they use professionally to terminate the cables rather than the Amazon version that I bought. So
yeah, is there anything else on my side for in your list? Can you share that list again, please?
Sure. Stand by. Let's see. And here's the list. Yeah, so I think you covered all the items that I had, unless there's something else that you had.
Only one thing I want to drop is that there will be a Yuma Hamfest in February, which I'll be participating, and I will reserve place for DSES. So we talked to you, Paul, about that. So if anyone from DSES will show up, it would be very cool. Last time Marin promised to come, but didn't happen. And I didn't go because I had health issues. I was sick, so I had to cancel it, and they refunded everything. Great. This time I am planning to go, and they already reserved place for me. So I have two places for DSES and one for myself. So we got to talk about it, I guess, later on. But I want to mention is anyone will participate and attend the Yuma Hamfest is the biggest on the West Coast in that particular part of time. I've been there numerous times. A lot of good pavilions and a lot of good vendors, and people come all over the West Coast and even from Texas and all that area. So just one thing. I don't quite remember the exact date. Was going to be probably second and third week of February.
Okay. Alrighty. Thank you very much. I think the next item on here is that the Hamfest that we're going to be at in January, on actually this next coming weekend, which is the 17th of January. We have a couple of tables there, and from what I understand, Bill Thomas is going to be there, and I forgot the other gentleman's name. Brain mess here. Anyway, so there's two guys that are going to be at the site. I'm going to be down in Haswell, of course, so that we won't be there. But if anybody is going to be attending that Hamfest, please definitely stop by the DSES table there. There's also a Hamfest, by the way, in February for us as well, and that's the one that's in Adams County. And I think that one was, I could give you the exact date here. It's, let's see here, February, that would be, I'll find the right date here. Let's see, that should be it. Yeah, I think that's the 15th. So the 15th is that'll make it the third Sunday of the month of February. So we will be at that one for sure. And
Paul, who's sponsoring that one? Is that the Denver Radio Club or the Rocky Mountain Ham Radio Club, or who is it?
Rocky Mountain Hams.
Rocky Mountain Hams. Okay.
Right. Yeah, it's called a Swap Fest, is what they call it. Not a Ham Fest, but a
Swap Fest. And the Yuma one is February 27th and 28th at the fairgrounds in Yuma.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
So perfect. Well, see if somebody wants to go to Yuma. We'll have to check our calendars. See if my wife will let me go. Anyway, got so many other things going on. Moving on to the next item on the agenda is the Artemis 2 moon mission update. And Rick said that he could give us an update on that. Do you want me to let you share something, Rick, or do you want to just talk to it?
I'll just talk to it, if that's all right.
It's perfectly all right, sir.
I should have put slides together, but I've been way too busy. So Ray and I have been working on the frequency standard and distribution system recently, and we've made some good progress. The HP 5065A rubidium puts out 5 megahertz, and all of our equipment needs 10 megahertz. So we've designed a clean doubler circuit based on the old NIST circuit from many decades ago. And that seems to work well. And I'm going to be providing an 8-port distribution unit from, I think it's the Tapper TADD1, but it'll be modified to work with the doubler, and that's a work in process. We spent a good part of yesterday working on it, and it's back at Ray's house for some rebuilding. So in the end, when we bring all this equipment and put it in the rack, we will have 8 separate low noise 10 megahertz outputs from the rubidium, which is not steered to GPS, but calibrated to GPS. And it will have its own dedicated computer for calibration purposes. So we're hoping that all goes well. There's some problems we're trying to track down, and hopefully we'll get them resolved before we have to bring the equipment down. So we're not going to be bringing anything down this weekend. It's not ready yet. There's been too many things going on at once. But Ray and I will be down there, and we'll although it's not shown here, I want to carve out at least an hour or two on Saturday from all the other important things that are happening. That I think Artemis is more important than any of those because it has a time limit. And I want to meet with anyone who is interested in direct participation with Artemis. At the very least, that includes Roger and Alex and Paul, myself, and Ray, and anyone else. But I need to carve out dedicated time where you set all the rest of that stuff aside so that we can make some key decisions on Artemis that I would rather not debate here. I'd rather do it in person on Saturday. But there's a few things I hope we can achieve beyond just the minimum. So we'll try to discuss that on Saturday, and if we can come to some conclusions, I'll write up a report on what we agree to or don't agree to after that and put it up online so that everyone can see what we're doing. But I'm getting a little nervous because there's the various launch opportunities for the mission are between February and April. There's a number of launch opportunities. Well, February is like very shortly, and we've got a lot of work to do and very little time to do it for Artemis. So I think it needs to take priority over all the other work. But we have to have a plan. So we'll have a plan by the time we come home on Saturday, I hope. And that's it. That's all I have for now. I'll have block diagrams like Alex has of all the things we're doing with the frequency standard, which by the way will become a permanent fixture for use in all of our activities once we have it established, but we need it. We can't participate in Artemis without it, so we got to get it done quickly. Anyway, that's all I have.
Anybody got questions for Rick?
Yeah, Rick, I don't know, this is Bill. I'm not going to be there, and this is a slight criticism to what you said. Do you want to spend any site time in a meeting discussing this, or do you want to get together in Colorado Springs at a different time? Because the site time's so valuable, by the time we get down there or the crew gets down there and gets back, there's only a few hours on site. So they got a lot to do on site.
Alex is not going to be in Colorado Springs, so there's certain things we have to sort out between Alex's design and our design, and the only place all the right people are going to be is on site.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
I have just a quick comment, just a data point here is I went digging into the Artemis 2 um, mission profile, and just so people kind of have an idea, there are a number of launch dates, as Rick pointed out. Um, if we are measuring, as best we can figure out, NASA's asking us to measure like during or after the translunar injection burn. That happens 24 hours after the launch. So we've got both good news and bad news there, is that we've got a heads up of 24 hours that we have to have at least one person on site to watch the dish move. But the bad news is, of course, we only have 24 hours to get our ducks in a row and be ready to do this. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yep.
So,
There-
Roger, I have a comment too. I obviously need someone on site to control the dish because dish is not remotely controlled. But everything else could be remotely controlled.
Oh yeah.
So, that's why, the most important is actually track the data. But if antenna is not pointed, there is no data tracking, obviously. So it's kind of equally important. That's the comment regarding that. We have to figure out how it's going to be the best approach for that. Now, Rick, regarding if you want me to come at some point to Colorado Springs just for that discussion, I can take a flight and not come there. We can meet there. So we just need to decide and commit which day going to be, so I can go from there.
Okay, well, we'll try to keep the time on Saturday to a minimum, and we can discuss whether we need more in-depth discussions in the springs when we talk on Saturday.
This upcoming Saturday when I'm coming.
Yes.
Ray and I are driving down for the day on Saturday, so we want, and we know Roger's going to be there and Paul and you. So I wanted to take advantage of the fact that we're all going to be in Haswell at the same time. If we want to do more or meet, I think we can. I'm hoping that any loose ends we can handle by Zoom, but if we need another in-person meeting, yeah, it'll be in Colorado Springs.
Okay, and I am bringing the SDR receiver, the equivalent of B210. Sort of B200, the one that had been donated by Vlad. I got it working with DSN, the software that I had, so it's fully compatible. I also made your B210 also compatible with the DSN, and it works fine too. So for my side, I already prepared everything. We can review all of that. We can actually practice, and the beacon actually gives. I also integrated the Artemis frequency into the beacon, so we have a known source on the downlink. So we kind of ready from all points, and we'll just need to kind of finalize and see what we need to add to already existed or modify. So we have everything on site. Therefore, the on-site meeting is going to be very productive in this point.
Yeah, good. And Ray and I will volunteer for driving the beacon out because Ray is the one who knows exactly where we need to go.
Perfect. Yeah, I remembered that, so it will be good position, and so we can mark it up. And in case if we need to run another test, the reason I added all those frequencies, not just to solely focus on DSN, is just because it's a multi-purpose use. And we do have the S-band multiple feeds actually on site, so we can choose the one we're going to use and then pick the day we can test that system. And we do have a preamplifier as well on site, so we have a full entire RX system available at this point on site with the software capable to run it. So we can could have run the entire test on upcoming weekend if we weather and time permits.
Okay, we'll try to be down there around 10, between 10 and 11 in the morning.
All right, I'll be there since noon on Friday until around 1 or 2 p.m., whatever Paul will decide to leave Sunday.
Oh, okay. And I'm having a little difficulty with Homer here, who wants to play. He doesn't want me talking on Zoom.
That's very good. Thank you very much.
I have a quick. I'm sorry, this is Adrian. I have a quick technical question. If NASA is requiring monitoring of the Artemis frequencies during TLI, what happens if the northern hemisphere is just not pointing in that direction? I mean, NASA's got, for example, Canberra, but what happens if the northern hemisphere is not pointing, pointing towards the spacecraft?
Well, we don't know what NASA wants us to do. And that's one of the problems is they have not gotten back to us. They've said when we turned in our response to their RFI, the RFI said they would provide all the detailed information to those who they chose as partners. And they haven't released a list. They haven't said we are a partner yet. So we don't have any, we're only guessing as to what they might want us to do.
Yeah, because the government shutdown and uncertainties affecting that, it's just not only affecting Artemis and affecting multiple programs that I've been involved as well. So that's probably the cause why it's been so quiet.
Now, so typical government, they'll probably give us approval with 0 time. So we are moving as fast as we can, assuming we're going to get approval as one of their partners. And so that's why you're working hard, Alex. Ray and I are working hard on a different aspect of it. There's some aspects that I want to talk about Saturday that need volunteers too. But I really encouraged. I think we're doing some good work that will last beyond the Artemis mission. That'll leave us in a better position to do all kinds of work.
Yep.
I just had one other comment on the Artemis. The Ephemeris data, it will be the critical thing that you won't get until the last minute. And that's really critical because we won't be able to point correctly without it. And so we probably won't have that until launch or translunar launch.
We can get those parameters off of Horizons, the JPL Horizon system.
If they post it real time.
They usually do after launch, but until they launch, we won't know if it's a go or not. So
Right.
that's going to be a problem.
Bill, they normally upload their FTP server. So because they want to make sure that all sites around the world they have direct access at a time of event. So I would suspect they would have that available. But this is the part what Rick mentioned. They should provide all of that to us, so we don't need to go and look for anything. The resources should be provided to us with the package, of which NASA has been quiet so far, and that's a concern because we're running out of time. And all of the work we've done it so far on the Rick side and my side just been because we just assumed that we're going to be participating. So tomorrow am I going to be participating? So all of that is going to be stored as one of the projects. But I guess we just need to be ready, right? In case if something happens and they say, yes, guys, go forward, we'll not have a time to develop anything because we already have developed at our cost, time and resources.
Yep.
Do we need to get Glenn? We should probably get Glenn involved here. So whatever ephemeris data is available to the System 1 software.
That's right.
And that's got to happen really again. If it is about the time of the TLI that we're supposed to be recording, we have 24 hours from launch until we're tracking.
Yeah, and I'm a little concerned also because I have the first of a series of surgeries scheduled right in the middle of some of these launch windows. But as Alex points out, most of what we need done can be done remotely, and I'm counting on that.
Yeah, my concern is not the actual well, it is the data collection, but also is switching the dish over and getting all the equipment running and tested and verified before that critical time.
Oh,
So-
that will happen. Yeah, that'll happen. As
And
soon
do-
as we have the equipment ready, we're gonna install it and be ready for whenever they say launch is.
Oh, good. Okay, I like that.
So, and that's one of the reasons, Roger, I want to get that mount system working properly, so we can adopt the S-band 2.4 gigahertz feed we have, and we have numerous of them. We have a brass, copper, we have aluminum. So we should whichever fits there and are perfect with our FD ratio, so we can conduct the tests. So it's everything what we're doing and what we'll do on Friday is actually tight to not only the DSN but as well covering the Artemis. So we want to make sure the system is fully functional so we can test it. I'm not talking about Artemis at all. I'm testing because we're never done the 2.3 gigahertz yet. So we want to make sure that the system is functional, the beam is known, and everything like that. So we also don't know what the output RF power from the Orion spacecraft. So we're not looking. We don't know what's the signal estimation gonna be. So do we have enough sufficient dynamic range and overloading and all those things? As design engineer, I am concerned, but I have no information whatsoever. So that's why I integrated the simulation tab into the software so we can simulate numerous scenarios and identify the boundaries where we can actually receive and provide the quality what NASA will respond. Remember, everything started with one piece of paper that was given to us by
Lockheed Martin.
Lockheed Martin. Thank you, Paul. Lockheed Martin. And a wearable statement. That's all started and triggered. We didn't have anything at all. Everything just being crafted from the air.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I imagine there's going to be plenty of dishes around the world that'll be also listening besides Canberra. So I think they're taking that all into consideration. Let me move on just a little bit here. So one of our members, Jim Schatzman, he's the fellow who donated the dishes and the tripods and other equipment that we have acquired, including the 2.3 gig feeds that we've got at the site right now. And he's been working with the science teacher at Eads High School about taking one of these dish antennas and using it as a STEM project for his classes. And we've heard back that some new from Megan Herron, who's one of our members as well in Eads. She's our main contact with the Eads people. She found out that they're actually going to be looking at building a new high school. And so what they've done is they put things on hold for now until they could come up with something else. But Jim has been working very closely with this, and we'll have some more information, I'm sure, as soon as we figure out what they want to do next. Megan was talking about actually putting one of our dishes down there at the site behind the new library that's going to be created soon. There's a new building on Main Street that they're going to be moving into. So she said there's a lot of room at the back. So we'll have to see what happens there. But in addition to that, I was in contact with Mark Prohl, who's I guess he's the principal network architect for the Orion spacecraft at Lockheed Martin. He actually lives I think it's in Arvada in Denver, but he works down at the Lockheed Martin facility just south of Denver, and he's agreed to do a presentation to the folks in needs. So we may be we may be looking at maybe using their they have a theater in downtown Eads, which we may have a large crowd wanting to see his presentation. I was lucky enough, and I think Roger, you were there too, for his breakfast presentation that he did at HamCon, and it was pretty inspiring. And I'm sure these folks down there would just love to be involved in the Artemis program. And this will be another opportunity for our STEM outreach, which is one of our main objectives of DSES. So that's that part. We just still have to come up with a date as to when that presentation is going to be made down there. But he has a really great presentation that he does. It's about 45 minutes, and he's agreed to drive down himself and all that kind of stuff. But we'll see what happens. But I'll give you more information on that later. All right. Any questions on any of that?
And no question, Paul, just a comment, but guys, remember that even though we're not going to be participating officially on behalf of NASA for this project, we can always engage anyway from our side, the volunteering side, and use all resources we already spent and just participate in the science project on behalf of the SES. So I'm not just abandoning this project completely. If we're never going to get anything responding or our information from NASA, it doesn't mean the end of the world. So we still have equipment, we still have resources, so we'll be fun to participating.
Yep, absolutely. I'll see if
Amen.
I'll see if Jim Schatzman can come down to Haswell as well, because Jim has some experience in with these highly accurate clock sources. He mentioned to me he may have a what's the other clock? A cesium? I think that's what he said. Something like a cesium clock, which is kind of a high-end thing, but I'm not sure exactly. But he'd be a good one to chat with anyway. So I'll see if he's interested in helping you, Rick, or if he just get involved in some way that he can participate down there. Because the more heads, I guess, the better, I suppose. Okay, the last item on the agenda is DSES Haswell site update from Bill Miller and his to-do work list. I asked him to come up with a few of the things he absolutely has to have done. And maybe you could enlighten us there, Bill. Maybe you can't come down this weekend, but maybe another weekend you might be able to come down and get some volunteers to help you.
Okay, let me, can you unshare and I'll share the list here?
Perfect. Absolutely.
Okay. We'll see that now. Before I start, something I think we need more of and probably more immediate is more security. I'd like to ask anybody on the call if you or if you know of anyone that happened to go on site last week. We had an incident where somebody went on site. We didn't know them, or I didn't. It was on the cameras. And first, let me ask that question: if anybody knew of anybody that they invited on site, or they know of anybody that said, "Oh yeah, we went on site." But it would have been at night, about 10 o'clock, 10:15 at night on, I believe it was Wednesday, if I remember right, Paul, Tuesday or Wednesday. And it was, we think, a man and a woman or a man and a boy came on site about 10:15 at night and looked around the site with a flashlight. And luckily, my alarm went off for the camera. And I saw him and I turned on the microphone and said, "What are you doing there? And you need to leave. And we've got your information on film." And they immediately turned off the camera and walked out. So this is the first time that's happened since we've had the cameras on site. Everybody else I've pretty much accounted for. But so I think we need more work on the cameras, and I have that on the list here somewhere and under security, I believe. This is quite a long list. I had to, I've had all this stuff in my head and I put it all on a list. There is security, add more PoE cameras and a PC and DVR recording software to that we can remotely access. Um, so we have a few uh, power over Ethernet cameras that we can deploy, and we need to get some more, but we need to figure out how to do this. And so if anybody has a PoE camera system that has the DVR software, or if they know of the DVR software, let me know and we'll build up a system and test it out. I'd like to get anybody that wants to volunteer to do this. That'd be great, but we really do need that as a. I'm going to change that to a A priority. I had it as a B until this last episode, but I think we need to make that an A priority. The other thing is probably get blinds or covers on all the windows so somebody can't come up and look in the window at night and say, oh, yeah, look at all this great equipment we got in there. Let's break in. If they can't see in, they're less likely to, see something they want. So some sort of window covering. We've got some insulation boards that we cut and put in some of the windows, but we need to be able to cover all the windows when we're not there. So blinds of some sort would be useful. And then having removable, or not removable, but wrought iron bars on the windows would slow people down in breaking into the windows and getting into the building. And also have actual farm gate instead of just the chain at the entry. If you can't get into the site, it's a long way in from the road, so it's less likely that somebody's going to steal stuff if they can't get a truck or whatever into the site. So those are some of the key priorities. I'll probably change all these to an A-level priority going forward.
Bill,
The other
what do
thing
you mean by they turned off the camera?
they turned off, I misspoke, turned off their flashlight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
Bill,
they started looking in the building, and that's when I stopped them.
I have suggestion, Bill.
Yeah, go ahead.
For like just a suggestion, maybe it will be much better from price perspective. So there is a NAS open source NAS software which can be used as a DVR recorder. So technically, we can use any computer as a DVR recorder, installing that software on it. And potentially in February, I can donate my old computer with, I believe it's like a couple of terabytes of hard drives there, so we can utilize it for as a security like recorder device. And I will do a little bit research about that and let you know in a few days. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, I'd really appreciate that.
Also, Bill, I would suggest put the camera, the 360 degrees on the tower, on the bunker. So in this case, we can always, point and let's say if it's nobody on site, you can rotate a point antenna at the gate, so we can observe how they got there. Because there's a chain. Did they jump over, or they run, or they stop the car there and walked?
They stopped the car at the gate and walked in.
Yeah. So if we put the camera that can rotate, we can control it.
Yep.
So with PTZ control, you know what I mean. And then we can just move antenna. It's going to be also allow us to look up the area, entire land we have from the top, and nobody can reach antenna. Is going to be mounted at the Paul's tower.
Yep.
One more suggestion. Just a suggestion, but it works actually from security perspective. If you will install some kind of proximity sensor, if somebody walk in and just like put on one of the tower flashlight, like police with police color, it will spook people for sure. Because right now police use remote control system, and it's people know about that, so they try to avoid interaction with sites like this.
Yes, we have a pole out there near the gate that we can put the camera and a light on. And I did have a Ethernet line running out to that pole from the bunker. So we have that all set up for Ethernet. We just have to get the cameras and stuff. I think Myron gave us a couple of cameras that do have a 360-degree or at least 270-degree articulation, and they're controllable. And some of the DVR software actually works as a proximity sensor. As soon as it sees something move, it will alert us. But that's how I found out about what was going on. The Nest cameras that we have, they alarm my phone when there's activity on the site, and so that's how I knew they were there.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, I think I don't know whether we have Ethernet going there, but we do have fiber running to the pole at the gate.
Yeah, we have the fiber out to the gate, and we need a fiber to Ethernet converter if we're going to put a camera at the gate. And I think a camera at the gate would be a really grand idea, because then we could actually get picture of the vehicles, and if it's a good
Yeah.
enough camera, even the license. So yeah, so that's the main thing. Also, Jim Saltzman, he also volunteered to help with the line item on this list that had to do with the grounding and bonding of the building and the radio console in the building. Ray and I did the grounding bonding of the controls console, and we got that set up, but we need to put in more grounding rods around the building, and all the copper strap in the radio console in order to move the radio station into the building. And so he did volunteer to do that. I still owe him pictures and a game plan of where these grounding rods go. So I'll have to get that back to Jim, and then talk to him about that. And so this was posted. This list was posted. Bill Thomas posted it on our website and on the ham call.
On
Let's see, not on the ham call. Where's it posted, Paul? Too many tools.
It's HCOL, so
Yeah. So anyway,
Groups.io.
take a look at the list. Anything you can help with would really be appreciated. There's a lot of items that are things that don't have a lot to do with the dish itself, but support that, and support our work on site. And all of them are, some are more important than others. I tried to prioritize them A, B, C, and as far as priorities go. But take a look at that, and if there's anything that you feel you're an expert in, or even want to try out and be an expert in, that's how I got into this. Is just doing various projects and work. But if you don't feel like you can do some of the things like what Alex is doing, feel about doing some of these things that you're good at. And so we need handymen out there.
Is
That's
it
all I got.
on Groups.io?
Yep, it's on Groups.io.
that's correct. Yep, that's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, the weather's going to be great on the weekend. No precipitation of any kind. A little bit of wind on Friday, and Sunday it's like 3 to 10 miles an hour. So, or sorry, Saturday is 3 to 10 miles an hour. So it should be pretty easy to work around there.
All right. I'm going to kill this share, and that's all I've got.
All right. Anybody else have anything else to discuss or bring up or comment? You're all welcome to join in. I'll be taking I got AI running in the background here, so I'll put out a report on what we discussed in this meeting for everybody to see, and I'll put that out on the HCOL. Right. If that's it, I'm going to say very good night to everybody, and thanks again for joining us today. And the meeting's ending on time. It's a nice change.
We're used to doing 2 hours and then some, Paul.
I know. Well, it's good that we can run through these things like this. But yeah, the next meeting that's going to come up is going to be our science meeting, and that's going to be later this month. And I'll have to see what our topic is because I don't have one right now. So we'll have to see what we can come up with that would be worthy of watching. So I'll let you know. And anybody else is coming down there this weekend, I'll see you there. Let me know because I'm gonna buy some hamburgers. All right, guys, take care.
Yeah.
Night, everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night. Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Night, y'all.